That's Daily Podcast. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. I want to thank you guys for subscribing. We're going to continue talking about the Kentucky UFO stories that we discussed last week. I did 6 stories, and now we are on the 7th story. If I can find it, if it'll load. And before I start reading these stories and stuff, once it loads, of course, I just want to say if you want to send some ideas on the show, if you want to send ideas that you want to see me do on the show in October, because October is going to be all cryptid stuff. We're going to be talking about ghosts. We're going to be talking about aliens. We're going to be talking about Bigfoot. We're going to be talking about Dogman. We're going to be talking about everything cryptid, everything Halloween. Besides, we do have one interview with Mike Goldberg, who is BYB Extreme Bare Knuckle Fighting commentator, UFC announcer, legend. He's absolute legend. We will have an interview with him in October. But besides that interview, everything else is Halloween stuff in October. So, yeah, if you want to send some ideas about what topics, like if you want me to talk about ghosts or whatever, or if you want to be a guest on the show and you love cryptid stuff, want to talk cryptid stuff, send me an email to seth.ambergy14@gmail.com. And that's where you can reach me for podcast ideas if you want to be a guest on the show. Just anything, man. And yeah, just send me an email to seth.ambergy14@gmail.com. And that's where you can send emails to me about the show and everything. And I will read emails during the podcast. During this podcast especially, I will. This is a weekly UFO, just reading stories of cryptid stuff and all that, man. This will be a weekly thing that I'll be doing. And during this weekly thing that I'll be doing, I will be reading your guys' emails. And definitely appreciate everybody who will send me an email and will send me some stuff, the stuff you guys want to see on the show. I want to do whatever you guys like. I want to do. Absolutely, you guys are the most important thing to this podcast, and I appreciate all of you listening for sure. And if you want to be a guest, send me an email too, right there as well. And yeah, I definitely appreciate everybody out there listening and stuff. And then now let's get to the UFO stories, UFO sightings and stories of Kentucky. The reason why I said crashes is because the 7th story that we're reading is a UFO train crash in Paintsville, Kentucky, January the 14th of 2002. In 2002, a train was hauling coal right through Paintsville, Kentucky on its way to Shelbyana. At exactly 2:47 a.m., strange hovering lights appeared on the tracks ahead of them, and the train's electronics went haywire. Above the nearby river, at least 3 other hovering crafts seemed to be scanning the water with searchlights. These UFOs, I've actually heard of UFOs actually charging themselves in water. That's just what I've heard. And I mean, they are near water a lot. I mean, my UFO sighting was around here at a lake as well. And I know some other, Earl Jeffrey Mullins, who is the Bigfoot researcher. He seen a UFO exactly around the lake. I just live around the lake. I didn't see it around the lake. He seen it actually above the lake. So I mean, that just supports the theory that they possibly recharge in the water or hide. I don't know what they got, but they got a connection with the water. UFOs do. I don't know if they're trying to hide in the water from people and stuff, but there's definitely a connection between UFOs and lakes, oceans, and everything. Because I believe there's a video where I seen UFO jumping out of a lake and jumping back in like fly. It wasn't really like flying. It like jumped. It was going so fast. It was like jumped up and moved. It was definitely a very interesting video. I can't remember where I seen that, but yeah, man, that definitely supports that theory that they have some sort of connection with water. These UFOs were described as metallic with no windows or visible openings. The train's diesel engines lost power and unable to stop quickly enough to struck the UFO claws closest to the tracks. After reporting the incident, the crew was instructed to bring their damaged engine into the yard at Paintsville. Once there, witnesses described being greeted by an army of workers immediately tending to our train, while several people in weird outfits rushed around. Witnesses also claimed the train damaged cartridges had been removed and placed under a large tent, buzzing with activity. After extensive questioning, the workers were transported to Martin, Kentucky, and allowed to return home. By the time there was no trace of the activity at the Paintsville yard, and public was told that the entire incident was due to a rock slide on the truck. On the track. Living in this area, man, you have heard about the story a bunch, and I know a lot of people have talked about it. And I know here's your bubblegum, who is 100% good, definitely good friends of the podcast. They're great people. Here's your bubblegum has did a lot of reporting on this CSX track, this CSX crash. They've done a lot of investigating on it and stuff, man, and definitely check out their podcast because they do a great job. And man, check out all their episodes because they talk about these crashes and they talk about these crashes. They talk about that crash and all the UFO sightings, and they talk about a lot of great stuff. Man, here two both of them do a great job with their show, and man, I was blessed enough to be a guest 2 weeks ago and had a great time. And they will actually be back on my show October the 8th, and definitely look forward to having them back on. And there's a guy named Junebug from In Dark Places. He did a documentary and stuff, and there was like he was about to do a documentary on the Paintsville crash, and he couldn't find no witnesses to talk, and where he did get the exact where he thought was the exact location where the crash happened, and there was nothing there. He couldn't find it. It was been so long since the crash had happened. They definitely cleaned the evidence from that crash, and definitely something happened there, man. I mean, why would people? If it was a rock slide, then why would no one talk about it? Definitely something happened, and we'll read a couple more stories. We'll read two more stories, and then we'll save the rest of them for next week. Right hovering tubes, October 16th, 2012, in Pike County, Kentucky, which is also where am I? In 2012, an amateur astronomer in eastern Kentucky observed a UFO that he described as like two bulbs side by side, parallel, shining brightly. It would get so bright they would seem to merge, and you could see it very clearly with the naked eye, he said. Then it would dim down almost invisible. It wasn't anything I recognized. Definitely not an airplane. I've seen a helicopter look like that. Others in the area reported seeing the same craft. Despite making national news, government officials could offer no explanation at the time. UFO has since been explained as a test flight of solar-powered internet balloon. But why didn't anybody know about it? That is definitely weird. I mean, they've always said that UFOs are this or that. They've tried to always make an explanation for it, but I mean, it is possible with so much technology. It is hard to tell if something's UFO or if it's a dish or if it's a internet balloon, which internet balloon. Now it used to be like some hot air balloon with dummies flying out. I heard something. There was a UFO sighting where there was like aliens like flying out or something like that, and something crashed or something. I believe UFO crashed and aliens like fell out and stuff. And they tried to say it was like hot air balloons and dummies. It was like some test or something. I don't. Man, they will try to come up with any explanation they can for these sightings, but there's a lot more evidence coming out and a lot more believers, which is great to see. And I definitely believe in UFOs for sure because I've seen one myself. And this is number 9, daytime sighting, October 20th, 2012, Paris, Kentucky. This UFO was recorded over Paris, Kentucky, in October 12th of 2000, and in October of 2012, in a mutual UFO network. Fourth, the witness stated that he also observed nearly a circular patch of ground approximately 14 feet in diameter where the grass was dead. The soil was discolored and there was a strange orange tint to the rocks in the center. Well, if you hear about some UFO sightings and stuff, after they have sightings, there's like circles in the grass and stuff. So that's not too uncommon, man. I mean, that happens a lot with UFO sightings, and definitely interesting for sure, man. Definitely some good evidence of them being UFOs and stuff. And these people were going into a lot of detail of their of them witnessing UFOs, so that makes me believe that they actually seen something for sure. It's not cool to make up a lie about something, because why would somebody make up a lie about seeing a UFO or Bigfoot or something? They're gonna be made fun of and stuff. No one is gonna make up. I mean, there's gonna be a few people that's gonna make it up, try to get, I guess, famous or something. But most people is not gonna make it up, man, because you get made fun of and all that stuff. So definitely believe these sightings for sure, man. And like I said, if you have any questions, I will read the emails. Possibly once a week. I might even read it more than once a week. I might read emails more than once a week if people send that many emails. Like I said, if you want to send an email to the podcast and you have any ideas for the upcoming October cryptid podcast, ghost podcast, all that, the Halloween month. It's the Halloween month of podcasts for Seth's Daily Podcast. We're going to do everything Halloween in October, besides the one interview with Mike Goldberg. But if you want to be a guest and you are a ghost hunter or a Bigfoot researcher, Dogman researcher, whatever, then yeah, man, send an email to if you have any questions, any ideas for upcoming shows, if you have any ideas for upcoming guests you would like to see on the show again, or any guests that you would want to see me try to get on here, then send an email to seth.ambergy14@gmail.com. And yeah, man, everybody have a good night, and I want to thank you guys for subscribing. You have a good night. God bless.